Hey everybody, Marcos Villegas here in Brooklyn, New York at Gleason's Gym, being joined with the beautiful Heather Hardy right over here, who fights this Saturday on the Garcia versus Thurman card here at the Barclays Center. First time meeting you. It's glad to meet you. So much to talk to you about. The first thing coming to my mind is I'm glad that you're finally having a fight back here at home, given what happened with all that stuff with the insurance and all that, and not being able to have cards in New York for so long. So it must be a good feeling.
Oh, it's such a relief. It's been the longest layoff of my career. So at this point, I'd be in there fighting anybody they gave me.
You know, speaking of the layoff, I know because of the layoff, you went in and tried to get an MMA fight. That opponent fell through. And then you're coming into here, so I'm hoping it goes through this Friday.
We even had a last-minute opponent change for the boxing match, and like 2 days ago they called me and said, we have a new girl, and I said, I don't care, just give me somebody.
No, speaking of you trying to do the MMA thing, is that still something you want to do?
Yeah, I worked too hard for that last fight for me to just give up. But you know, like I invested so much, and my MMA coaches invested so much that I couldn't turn my back on it if I wanted to.
Now, how is that, going from a narrow stance to a wide stance and then working the ground game and all that? Tell me how that process was.
It's I don't think that a lot of boxers respect MMA the way we should. How difficult it is. People think, oh, it's so easy. If I was in there, I would do this, but boxing changes when it becomes part of MMA. So everything from where you stand to how far away you have to be to, you know, even just training and having to travel to 3 and 4 different gyms every day just to get all your lessons in. It was excruciating.
I don't see no cauliflower here yet. You're watching out, right?
Yeah, we've been watching that.
So at this point, are you just going to go back to focusing on boxing, or you're going to try to balance the two? Because it's a difficult balance.
It is. The good thing is that I'm always in shape. So, and I'm always willing to train, always willing to work. I don't take off on my downtime. If there's no fights, I'm always training. So whether it's, you know, even before the MMA was a thought, on my downtime I would kickbox, and I'd have kickboxing sparring partners because I like it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm always in the gym, so ready for something to come up. So whatever happens to come up next, we'll be ready for it.
I know people always ask this and want a comparison, which is harder, boxing training or MMA training? It's different approaches to each, but what I guess is more difficult, MMA training?
Yeah.
Why is that to you?
So much.
Yeah.
It's so much. Boxing is boxing is extremely difficult and takes so much sacrifice and dedication, which MMA takes all the same, but you have to apply that sacrifice and dedication to so many different sports. MMA isn't one sport. It's a combination of 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So you're constantly not only trying to stay in shape, but trying to learn stuff, and it's like,
What was the hardest thing to do? Was it the wrestling or the jiu-jitsu, or?
honestly, when I can do things individually, because I'm a fighter and I fight, it was easy to pick things up like super quick. It was hard putting everything together. Like things like judging my distance, like where I would stand in front of somebody. And in boxing, no, they can't reach me, but in kickboxing they can. So learning how far away to be and how to move the ring correctly, and you know, the little things in boxing you get away with that in kickboxing you don't. So
You know, MMA is filled with a lot of big name women fighters, and they get, it seems, a lot more attention than the boxing female fighters. Why do you think that is, and what do you think can change that?
I think that what happened in MMA, and you know, the name everyone brings up is Ronda Rousey, and Dana White took a chance on her. There was a tremendous fight card on pay-per-view where he was expecting millions of buys, and he just put her on as the co-main event, and he kind of went, let's see if everyone likes her, and everyone loved her, and they wanted more, and it worked. And then people wanted more females and more weight classes, and now it's growing, and nobody's done that with boxing. You know, last summer I got the show on NBC Sports, which was so great. And then, you know, Clarissa's going to headline a card now, which is so great. But wouldn't it have been so much better if maybe I could have fought right before these guys? And the whole world who is tuning in to watch this fight could at least get to decide if they want to see female boxing or not, you know? So I think that's what female boxing is waiting for, the kind of exposure that the girls in MMA got.
What do you think it's going to take to get to that, in your opinion?
It's going to take either a promoter or one of the networks to say, all right, we'll give it a chance. I mean, and a huge leap is seeing Clarissa do a main event. But I think what we need is we need a female to be put in front of the masses. When you know everyone's going to be watching and all the boxing fans are tuning in, show them the girls are doing this too.
It seems at this point the women that compete in MMA are making a little bit more than the females in boxing. So given that, and you're seeing the money coming in, if you go through with the MMA stuff with Invicta and all that, would you go to MMA full-time because of that?
I love boxing too much to ever leave. I love it too much to ever leave. And that's not that I'm not able to do both, because I would always do both. But my main reason for going over to MMA, I have a 13-year-old daughter. You know, this is a paycheck for me, and I haven't worked in 7 months. So if fighting's what I'm good at, let me make some money doing it if I can't make any money here.
No, I feel you. Certainly, it's a sticky situation to be in. I want to still see you compete in MMA, so when is that going to happen?
We're going to talk about it after this fight. I have a strict rule. We don't look ahead of fights. So I get through this girl. On March 5th, me and you can sit down and talk about what's happening next. But for now, I got one girl to beat up on Saturday.
All right, Heather, I'm going to talk to you after your fight, and we'll see. Hopefully, we get to see you in an Invicta cage soon, because I was super looking forward to that, seeing you here with Heather Hardy at Gleason's Gym in Brooklyn, New York. She fights this weekend on this Thurman versus Garcia card.